Hi and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. Today we'll join Business Beat reporter Michelle Coates back at the track at Daytona International Speedway. Then it's over to health reporter Stefany Strong for a report from the Volusia County Health Department about HIV testing and what you should know. And finally, we'll join Community Information Director Dave Byron in the studio for a chat with his guest, Director of Animal Control, Becky Wilson. Those segments, news, and more coming up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. It's official. The ancient Arabic Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, commonly known as the Prince Hall Shriners, will hold its 2017 Imperial Session of Shriners International at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach. The announcement was made in grand style at Victory Lane at Daytona International Speedway by Gary Bergenski, an Orlando businessman who will be the head of the Shriners International in 2017. Bergenski, along with County Chair Frank Bruno and Daytona Beach Mayor Glenn Ritchie, spoke about how the Daytona Beach area has so much to offer the 20,000 Shriners expected to attend the conference.
Our thought was that what better place could we share with 20,000 of our friends that will be coming to this convention to be able to wake up in the morning and see the Atlantic Ocean, see all the wonderful things that are here. You know, what really did it for us was the passion that the city and the county extended to us, the passion that they extended to us in wanting to have us here. It was very important.
Daytona Beach will be the smallest city to ever host the Shriners International Convention. Shriners International is a fraternity based on fun, fellowship, and the Masonic principles of brotherly love, relief, and truth. It has approximately 325,000 members in the United States, Canada, Germany, Mexico, the Philippines, Puerto Rico, and the Republic of Panama. Shriners International also supports Shriners Hospitals for Children, a health system of 22 hospitals dedicated to providing pediatric medical care, world-class research, and educational opportunities for medical professionals. And if you'd like to find out more about events coming to the Ocean Center, visit oceancenter.com. Hundreds of people gathered in Ponce Inlet recently at the sites of the historic North and South Beach ramps to celebrate the completion of a beautification project of local historic significance. The ramps were part of the race course in the early days of auto racing in Daytona Beach when drivers competed on a course that included the beach and Atlantic Avenue. The Volusia County Council officials with the town of Ponce Inlet and some pioneers of early beach racing unveiled new monuments, raised checkered flags, and cut ribbons to celebrate the historic significance of the two ramps, which are the sites of the original north and south turns of the early beach and road course. This was the 4.1-mile course where the Grand National Race ran from 1948 until 1958.
It's a landmark. You know, I have my son here. This is Jonah, and we need our kids to understand that this is where it all began. This is where racing began. You know, there's a reason why this was the first airport in Florida, the hard-packed sand. So that's why the cars were on there. You used to have the racing trials here with the speed races in the early 1900s. So it's just good to have these type of monuments so our kids, visitors understand this is the birthplace of speed. You know, we have the Daytona 500, which is, you know, it was from here, it went to there, and then just that history is just amazing, and we're glad to represent it here with this type of monument.
One of the highlights of the event included a parade of historic racing cars down A1A to the beach and then back up A1A to the north turn. Festivities continued at Racing's North Turn restaurant, where beach racing legends helped to cut the ribbon and signed autographs for fans. NASCAR Hall of Famer Richard Petty made a surprise appearance at the North Turn, where he raised the checkered flag marking the new historic marker there. Next week, Joanne Magley will have an in-depth feature report on this event in her Volusia Here and Now report. Children ages 7 to 11 can clown around at the Lake Helen Public Library during their spring break. Karen Polson, a professional clown who goes by the name of Bubbles, will lead a week-long camp from March 19th through the 23rd to teach kids about clown basics. Subjects will include performance skills, costuming, makeup, and stage etiquette. Children also will learn how to juggle, do comedy magic tricks, and make simple balloon creations. They will develop their own clown characters and come up with a clown name such as Bubba, Ruffles, and Popcorn. Polson, support service manager for the Volusia County Public Library System, was a clown and puppeteer at Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey for 9 years before joining the library system in 1989.
I started out as like Little Red Riding Hood and a clown, a little girl, and then eventually you develop your own character. It was about 2-3 years after I started that I actually came up with Bubbles, because I tried the all goose clown, I did Raggedy Ann, I even did body puppets, and eventually you figure out what type works best for you, and then you keep that and develop your own face, and no one else takes your face or your costume or your character.
There will be time for group activities, including sports stacking and games. On the last day of camp, the children will give a performance in costume and makeup for their family and friends.
I think it helps their self-esteem. When you become a clown, you have the makeup on, you're a different person, so it can bring out something in you that you didn't know you even had. They came up with their own clown names. They decided what kind of clowns they wanted to be, a white face, an all goose, or a hobo clown. And then they picked their names, their costumes, and got an idea of
Bubba!
like Bubba, like what kind of makeup they wanted.
Tuition for the 5-day class is just $50. The class size is limited to 10 children and registration is required by March 1st. To register your child, you can call Karen Polson at 386-248-1745, extension 1213, or visit volusialibrary.org. The next Clowntastic camps begin June 11th at the New Smyrna Beach Regional Library and July 30th at the Port Orange Regional Library. 2012 is a leap year, and what better way to celebrate this extra day in February than by experiencing a concert by Grammy Award-winning Zac Brown Band. The Zac Brown Band will perform at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach at 7 p.m. Wednesday, February 29th. The band's hits include Toes and Chicken Fried. The Zac Brown Band has received 10 Grammy, CMA, and ACM awards. This year, the band has been nominated for 4 CMA awards and the ACM Vocal Group of the Year. Ocean Center Director Don Poor says this is just another example of how the county-run convention center works to uphold the high quality of life offerings for our community.
Well, we have 3 market niches that we go after at the Ocean Center, and basically the first is religious markets, and we do a pretty good business in that now, but we have recently booked a new event called Rejuvenate that will be coming here in October of 2013, which is just next year, which will bring 500 religious meeting planners into the community. The second type of business we try to book is competitive arts, which has to do with cheerleading and dance and volleyball and all types of different sports, or wrestling, things like that. And the third is Florida associations, and those are our key markets. So we want to bring more families in, people who will stay for a longer period of time and enjoy the Daytona area.
Tickets for the Zac Brown Band concert are available at the Ocean Center box office or through Ticketmaster. For more information, you can call the Ocean Center at 386-254-4500.
Hello, I'm Joey Alexander with the Volusia County Council. Did you know we have a turtle and seabird rehabilitation center right here in Volusia County? Since opening in 2002, the Marine Science Center in Ponce Inlet has cared for thousands of sick and injured sea turtles and birds and released many of them back to the sea. The Marine Science Center also has a touch pool, exhibit gallery, and areas where you can watch our specialists caring for marine animals. This unique center is next to the Ponce Inlet Lighthouse. To learn more and plan your day trip, visit marinesciencecenter.com.
And now let's join Business Beat reporter Michelle Coates back at the track at Daytona International Speedway.
Welcome to the 50th anniversary Rolex 24. Here at the Ocean Center, the largest number of Rolex 24 cars are gathered for the first time ever.
The effort to assemble the most unique collection of overall Rolex 24 Daytona Championship cars, from Porsches to Vipers, to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Twice Around the Clock Challenge was a resounding success. It was the most well-attended Rolex 24 in the last decade. As for the cars, 29 past overall championship cars returned to Daytona International Speedway, and 47 champion drivers traveled from all over the world to celebrate. We spoke with the owner of the 1970 Porsche 917, a crown jewel of the reunion, about the gathering.
I raced at Daytona 4 or 5 times in different cars, and for me, it's, I haven't been back since '82, so it was a great excuse to come back.
The original 3-hour event, known as the Daytona Continental, did just what Bill France hoped: draw the world's top talent. It ended memorably too. Dan Gurney's Lotus had established a lengthy lead when the engine failed with just minutes remaining. Gurney stopped the car at the top of the track just short of the finish line. When the 3-hour time limit elapsed, he simply rolled to the bottom of the track, letting gravity pull the car across the finish line to win the race. Andrew Booth with Daytona International Speedway shared the finish line photo with us.
That's just incredible history, and it'll give you a picture of the evolution of the sports car from what it was back in 1962 to the prototype era that we're in today.
The community, as well as the estimated 80,000 race fans at the track, enjoyed a taste of the historic reunion. A parade through the streets of Daytona Beach brought the cars from the Ocean Center to Daytona International Speedway, kicking off the weekend. The procession featured irreplaceable pieces of racing history valued in the millions, such as the 1962 Ford Lotus, driven by Dan Gurney, and a 1970 Porsche 917K. Of the 42 winning cars, 29 returned. 9 cars were out of the country, and several are still in use in vintage racing across Europe. 3 are no longer in existence. We spoke to the reunion organizer, Tim Pendergast, who spent more than a year tracking down the cars, which were scattered around the globe.
There have only been 48 races because there wasn't a race since 1974 because of the oil embargo. There's only been 45 cars that have actually won the race because the 2 cars behind me, one won 3 times and one won twice, and 3 cars don't exist at all.
The 1970 Porsche 917 holds a special place in Pendergast's heart. It's also one of the most valuable in the reunion. We spoke to its current owner, who still races it a few times a year.
I still drive it. We race it in the vintage races like Monterey, and in different places we race the car.
I was lucky enough to take a seat within the powder blue Porsche, and I can tell you, it felt like a rocket ready for blastoff, though I couldn't get my hands on the keys for a real test drive.
What a thrill. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Michelle Coates with the Business Beat.
Public Information Officer Stefany Strong takes us to the Volusia County Health Department to see how easy it is to get tested for HIV.
HIV, the human immunodeficiency virus, is a virus that kills your body's CD4 cells. CD4 cells, also called T helper cells, help your body fight off infection and disease.
I'm Dr. Bonnie Sorensen. I'm currently the director of the Volusia County Health Department, but I used to be a doctor in our AIDS clinic. So I very much understand the impact of AIDS on individuals, but also the impact of AIDS on our community. It's very important to be tested for HIV. Knowing your status enables you to be treated, because there are very effective treatments now so you can live a long life, as well as be aware to prevent spreading HIV to any partners.
I am 20 years old and I am sexually active. I care about myself and my new partner, but I don't know my HIV status. I have never had an HIV test, but today that changes. I'm going to be tested at the Volusia County Health Department. I am nervous, but I know I am doing the right thing.
Hi, I'm Betty Hollis, HIV/AIDS Early Intervention Consultant for the Volusia County Health Department, and I will be conducting your HIV test today. I see that you've completed the consent form and signed it already. Thank you. I will be conducting your 20-minute HIV rapid test today, and this 20-minute rapid test consists of just a finger prick, okay? And I only need a drop of blood. While we're waiting for your 20 minutes, I would like to ask you some risk factor questions that you can answer yes, no, or unknown to. your HIV results are negative, but we ask that you come back in 3 months to be retested.
Approximately 15 Floridians become infected with HIV every day. If your HIV test is positive, our trained counselors will talk to you about next steps for treatment. Anyone can get HIV. The most important thing to know is how you can get the virus. How is HIV transmitted? By having unprotected sex with an infected partner. Any type of needle sharing with blood-to-blood transmission, and from an infected mother to her baby. Test results are kept private in 2 different ways, confidential and anonymous. For an HIV testing site near you, text your zip code to 477-493 or visit www.wemakethechange.com. To contact the Volusia County Health Department, please call 386-274-0634. For Volusia Magazine and on behalf of the Volusia County Health Department, your guide to better health, I'm Public Information Officer Stefany Strong.
According to the Health Department, if you test negative for HIV, you are asked to get retested again in 3 months and again every 6 months. If you have any questions about this or any other health-related issues, you can always log on to volusiahealth.com. Now let's join Community Information Director Dave Byron in the studio for a discussion with studio guest Becky Wilson, Animal Control Director for Volusia County.
Well, thank you, Amber, and hello, everyone. Literally thousands of unwanted dogs and cats are put down every year in Volusia County. The Volusia County Council has taken several steps to improve this picture, first by creating a mandatory spay and neuter law, and second by funding a mobile spay and neuter clinic that is performing surgeries throughout the neighborhoods of unincorporated Volusia County. And it does appear that progress is being made. This is a subject we haven't discussed for quite a while, so we're going to get the very latest on this today with our Volusia County guest, our Animal Control Director, Becky Wilson. Becky, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We haven't talked about this problem for a while, and it's a serious problem in Volusia County. When we say literally thousands of unwanted dogs and cats are put down every year, I mean, what's the number we're talking about, Becky?
Last year was 10,000.
Unbelievable. And it's a problem that I think we're making a little bit of a dent in, huh?
Yes, each year our numbers are actually going down some, and overall in the county the numbers are going down, but 10,000 is still a lot of animals.
And you know, one of the things that staggered me the other day when you and I were talking is this feral cat problem, which we'll talk a little bit about. But I think you said there were like an estimated 80,000 feral cats in Volusia County.
That's correct. The Animal Control Board did a study, and using a formula from the School of Veterinary Medicine, they determined that there's an estimated 80,000 free-roaming cats in Volusia County.
Unbelievable. Becky, when we talk about 10,000 animals put down every year in Volusia County, from what I've learned from talking with you, what I read, this is a problem that's not confined to Volusia County. I guess a lot of communities have a similar pet overpopulation issue.
Yes, Dave. Nationwide, there's a problem of overpopulation because people don't spay and neuter their pets.
Right. What are the responsibilities of a dog and cat owner in unincorporated Volusia County right now?
Right now, we have an ordinance that requires that pet owners have their animals vaccinated against rabies, that rabies vaccination be registered with the county through a licensing program, and that they be spayed and neutered, and also that they keep the animals restrained to their property.
Right. And I know a lot of the cities have a similar ordinance. So, I mean, is that pretty standard around Volusia County?
It's becoming standard. We have a few cities that just recently adopted the mandatory spay and neuter ordinance, and I think there's only about 3 cities that have not adopted that yet.
And we just mentioned this feral or free-roaming cat problem. For those people that don't understand what feral cat means or free-roaming cat, give us the definition there.
Well, the primary difference between a truly feral cat is a cat and a free-roaming cat is a cat that's not socialized. It's the offspring of cats that have either been dumped or dropped off, and they were never handled by humans.
And would that be the same thing? Is free roaming and feral, is that an interchangeable term?
For the most part, yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, so you and your staff, you go out and you pick up a stray dog or a stray cat. Walk us through the process. What happens there?
Generally, when we pick up a stray dog or cat, we transport it either to the Halifax Humane Society or to the Southeast Volusia Humane Society. And those humane societies we have a contract with them to hold the animals for 3 days to give the owner a chance to call and claim the animal.
Right.
And because generally, if a person owns an animal, they're looking for their animal pretty quickly, and
Sure.
so within that 3 days. After 3 days, then the animal becomes property of the Humane Society, and then they evaluate the health and the age, overall condition of the animal, and then place it up for adoption.
So if the pet owner discovers that their pet is at the Humane Society and they come in to pick the animal up, do they have to pay costs?
Yes, there's a cost daily. There's a daily fee for the 3 days that they're housed there at the Humane Society. For 3 days for us, it's $80, so it's broken down.
Right.
And the person pays for ever how many days it's been there. If it's there after 3 days and the owner discovers it's there, then they go through the adoption process to get the animal back.
And for the folks that are paying taxes to the county, these Humane Society contracts, although I guess pretty good deals for the county, overall, I mean, this is a pretty substantial cost to the public.
It really is. Right now, it's $80 for the 3 days of either of the Humane Societies. Overall, with the cities and the counties, we're paying roughly, or taxpayers are paying roughly $1 million a year.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's a significant cost. Becky, one of the things that has, I guess, been a real success story is this mobile spay and neuter clinic that you have called the Pet Vet Cruiser. It's getting a pretty good reputation out there, but for those people that haven't heard about it, tell us about the Pet Vet Cruiser. It's a phenomenal success story.
The Pet Vet Cruiser is a mobile veterinarian clinic on wheels, mobile. We go to various areas in the community, and it's a fully equipped surgical station. We have a licensed veterinarian and 2 vet techs, and people who qualify. It's an income-based program. Make an appointment prior to going to the bus. We make the appointment by telephone. We qualify them over the phone, and then depending on where they live, we send them to the Pet Vet Cruiser closest to where they live.
And my understanding is the cruiser is busy virtually every day.
It is. It is.
Becky, one of the other things that the county's been doing, again, to try to work with all of the cities, is to try to get all the cities in the county standardized in how they handle licensing and that sort of thing. Do we have most of the jurisdictions with us in how we're approaching this?
Generally speaking, I think we only have about 3 cities, and there are some smaller cities that have not yet adopted the mandatory spay and neuter, but generally all of the cities as well as the county have the responsible pet ownership as far as keeping their animal restrained, having the rabies vaccination, and having their pet registered.
And I know you were before the county council at a recent meeting talking to the council about a recommendation from the county's animal control board on this cat issue. What's the story there?
Well, last year, actually, the council directed the Animal Control Advisory Board to do a study about what how the problem was countywide.
Right.
And that study showed that, well, one, the formula calculated the scope of the problem,
right,
that it was roughly 80,000 free-roaming cats in our county. Additionally, they identified that this is a problem nationwide. It's
right,
not unique to Volusia County,
right,
and that in counties across the nation, that most programs are managed and led by nonprofit groups whose mission is to address the free roaming and the overpopulation of free roaming cats.
Right.
And primarily that's because there are grants that have been designated for those nonprofit groups whose mission is solely to take care of that. There's a process of fundraising and donations, ability to collect donations that are available to those. So once they presented that, the council then directed the board to then begin to look at who might be a nonprofit group that could manage one in our county.
Right.
And the board did do an evaluation of that. They set out some criteria, what they'd be looking for in a nonprofit group that they would recommend, and they had them give a presentation, and they came up with a group who's been established here in Volusia County since about 2002.
Really?
And they're a group called Concerned Citizens for Animal Welfare. And they've been involved in fundraising, and they've received a number of grants, and they have spayed and neutered quite a few dogs and cats.
Wow.
And they do have the ability to expand countywide, and they have been providing services for citizens both from city and unincorporated area for a period of time.
What should people do if they see one of these cat colonies, or they feel like there's free roaming cats in their neighborhood? What should people do? A lot of people have good hearts and they want to feed them. Is that what you encourage, or what should people do?
We have a number of people that are feeding the free roaming cat, and
Right.
it's an age-old situation.
Right.
Not that it's a bad thing for
Right.
people to have a heart for animals. It's always a good thing for people to have a heart, have compassion. But we encourage people, if they're going to get involved with feeding, that they connect with a rescue group, and now with this Concerned Citizens for Animal Welfare, to make sure that the other obligations are met, and that would be to have them vaccinated and also to have them spayed and neutered so they're not reproducing, because a lot of times people have the heart and the compassion to help an animal by feeding it, but a lot of times that just helps perpetuate that animal and perpetuate litters,
Right.
and which then just is a continuous adding to the problem.
If there are people out there, Becky, that want more information, or perhaps they may want to get involved and help in some way, how do people get more information?
They can go to the Volusia website, volusia.org, and then on the drop-down bar, click on Animal Services, and we have a number of links there, including the Pet Vet Cruiser, the shelters, and we will have eventually a link for the Concerned Citizens for Animal Welfare, but they have their own website, and you can just find that through Google.
Well, our guest today, Volusia County Animal Control Director Becky Wilson, again, on a very important subject. It does sound like progress is being made, so thanks for sharing the information with us.
Thank you for having me.
And with that, Amber, we'll go back to you.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about our program, just give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org. You can also watch the show online. Just go to volusia.org and click on the Volusia Magazine icon. And don't forget to listen to Volusia Today, Volusia County Government's public information radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. And last, we'd like to invite you to the next Volusia County Council meeting, which is scheduled for Thursday, March 1st at 9 a.m. in the council chambers in DeLand. Public participation is welcome. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a great evening.